We'll see if we can time this burp with it starting.
Oh.
Hello, everybody. This is Grimcad, and we are back with Dungeons and Dragons Friday. We are playing a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and we are in the tomb, or rather, we are playing, because we're not quite there yet. We are playing the Tomb of Annihilation module. And we're like level 3, and nobody's died?
I wouldn't say nobody.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh my gosh, we have had some casualties.
Daddy, can I say hi to everybody?
Say hi to everybody real quick.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Hello.
They said hello and Happy New Year's back to you.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's.
Say hi to everybody.
Well, we were just getting to the point where we were about to say hi to everybody. So again, I go by Grimcad. Likely you know that. I am playing Riyadh Day in this campaign. I am a
Daddy,
Circle of the Spore
can you tell them I'm Grimkid?
Druid. What?
Can you tell them I'm Grimkid?
No, she likes to go by Grimkid because
And I'm Grimkid.
yeah.
You're tickling me, Daddy.
We are also joined by Roland.
Oh,
Hello.
dear.
Hello, I was trying to be sneaky, but obviously I'm not good at it.
We are joined by Greg, or Jake, I suppose.
Howdy.
And last, but certainly not least, we are joined by Gypsy, who is our DM for this campaign.
Hello.
And with that, I will hand it all over.
Yes, well, hello, and hope everyone had a good Christmas and New Year's since we took last week off. Well, mainly you, Grim. I've caught up and lived with one of the other two.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I had a good Christmas. You know, Christmas is way less about me nowadays.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I mean, you seem to have had a good New Year's, considering you were so cut yesterday you thought it was today.
Yeah, you know, things happen. People get their wires crossed, and miscommunications and all, and
That's what happens when you go on a 3-day bender.
pretty much.
Never surrender to the bender.
But I think, yes, where we last left off, you guys had just finished Camp Righteous's, I guess it's kind of a mini dungeon. It was more of just a trap gauntlet, though. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a dungeon. It was just 3 or 4 traps all in a row, basically. But you guys braved it, and although a couple of fails and not quite understanding how the situation worked led to I think basically every trap got set off at one point or another, didn't it?
Yeah.
Someone got claimed.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, someone got
Yeah.
claimed to the pitfalls, someone got hit by the scythes, and someone got hit by the fire, and someone also triggered and got hit by the rock.
We were just, you know, testing to make sure everything worked.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to be a well-built structure. All the traps worked properly and did good amount of damage to everyone. But you all made it out. Some of you looking a bit worse for wear than others. But I believe by the time everything would have happened and you guys made your way back out, would be probably mid to late evening sometime, afternoon sometime. So we can pick it up from there. I believe you guys, I don't know if you marked it down, but had gotten the jug,
Yes.
which was an alchemical drug.
It should be on the
And-
shared equipment.
Hopefully after, I believe it was some milk and water and beer, hopefully we haven't burnt its charges already.
Yeah.
'Cause that would be rather unfortunate. First magic item and we waste it testing it.
Acid as well. Don't forget that.
Oh, yes,
Well,
yes,
it was the
that's
acid,
right.
yeah.
Yep, that is correct. but yes, we shall pick up from there. I believe Flask. Yeah, no, Flask is still doing pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do need a rest, I think.
Yeah.
I definitely need a rest.
Pretty
Well,
sure.
that's up to you guys.
Right, so we'll just resurrect the old fire pit.
Well, Big Smart would have probably spent the time setting up something resembling
Big Smart, that's right.
what he has seen you guys setting up camps. He would have found some firewood and stacked it into a pile for a fire and such, but that would be up on those cliffs where the donkey is and everything. Again,
Sorry.
it's probably not to your guys' standards, because he's kind of just been learning from you guys after the past week or two traveling with you, you know, your routines and everything. Goblins don't tend to make camp every night and everything like that.
But either way, I do think we should, stop and camp.
Does it look like he's put like heaps of effort into it, or does it just look like trash?
He's put effort into it, as much effort as a goblin would. Like he's trying to help out and everything, but he doesn't know how to make, I guess, like he'd know how to make a campfire, but for him and his tribe and stuff, they tend to use more bigger bonfires where it's just everything piled into a massive pile. He doesn't actually have like, a rock structure around it to stop little bits spreading and everything like that. But he's definitely been putting in effort in the past hour or two that you guys would have been in there.
So we can't really just tell him that there's tents down here we can sleep in. And if I hope it already set out.
I mean, most
Have we
of
get the
those
bunk
tents
down?
and everything down there are near unusable. So
Oh.
it's not really a usable camp by any means. Like you'd be able to maybe restoke one of the fires or something like that, but the tents are complete rotten trash, basically.
I'll just use his campsite.
I'll make my way up.
Yes. River would follow you guys, but Flask, I mean, would follow you guys, but River would stay down here and continue her, I guess, deciphering of what she can.
Mm-hmm.
Can I actually like try and throw a rope around like this tree? Like try and get just like I want to get it all the way down. So, but like I've got both ends of the rope by me, but around it so I can climb up and then camp out in the tree.
Give me. I mean, are you just trying to throw just a rope up, or are you actually doing something to it to make sure it flies and everything?
I'll tie a knot on the end to, but not turn it into a lasso or anything, just to make it easier to throw.
Yeah, well, give me a dex. Oh no, just a ranged attack roll. We'll go for.
Ranged attack. That's plus dex, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just roll this.
Yep. Probably after a few tries, you'd get it to kind of clatter around the tree, and then the stone on the end would help it come down the cliff. So you'd be able to do it easy enough. And climbing up it is simple enough if you've got it tied off or anything like that.
It just seems like this tree would be the best vantage point to look out from.
That's fine. I mean, are you going up there right now? Because it's still like, pretty early in terms of you guys wouldn't quite be rolling for perceptions and everything yet.
I'd just sit up for later. Yeah, it's not late enough to go to sleep yet, so yeah, I'll just sit up for later.
on your hand out at fishing.
Yeah. Do that while I've got a bit of spare time. Would I have time?
I mean, yeah. You know, if you're spending a couple of hours or something, or you can chuck it in for half an hour or something like that. It would just be obviously changing your DCs and everything.
I do just need to have the 4 hours sleep, so actually I should have plenty of time.
Tend to my wounds.
So everyone else is kind of just tending to wounds and everything like that for now. What about you, Grim?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. You know, if people are hurt, because, you know, I don't particularly know how hurt, like, Flask would be, but I'll good honey up and...
Flask is... I mean, he's injured, but not super bad. He's only missing like 10 HP.
Okay, yeah.
So,
I'm only missing a couple after healing, so...
yeah.
I probably wouldn't even bother then.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to take a long rest now, too, as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, fair enough.
I'm pretty bloodied up and banged up at the moment.
Oh.
With that roll for fishing, though, spending 2 or 3 hours fishing, you wouldn't catch anything rolling. There's definitely things in the water, but they're just not biting. You're not using the right bait, if any.
Yeah. Maybe I should start using bait.
Yeah, it might be an idea, because I realise you've never actually been using bait. You've just been throwing wire in.
Yeah, I mean, the fishing kit comes with like spinners and things.
Yeah.
And it would come with a little bit of bait, but I haven't actually used any of the bait. I would just be trying spinners.
You've also been travelling for like nearly a month now, so any bait you had is long degraded and rotted away to nothing now.
Yeah, but I want it to rot, because then it smells more, so the fish get more interested.
Good point. Good point.
And, you know, speaking of, I'd like to take some time and do a good once-over of everything that we have. You know, all of our inventory,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Just make sure things are properly sealed where they should be sealed and, you know, not broken, not damaged, anything like that. Give the litter a once through over, make sure it's still holding tight, and if it needs redone, you know, redo that as well.
Well, give me a survival and a investigation.
All right, you mind
One
if
of
I
both.
pop guidance on them?
No, that's fine. You're allowed to use your cantrips as you see fit.
All right, well, we'll pop
Is it a
for our survival, and then we will pop for investigation.
You notice as you're kind of clearing through everything that the kit is holding together, actually really well, considering the times it's had already, and the fact that it was kind of just a makeshift throw together thing. You know, it's managed to transport a shield guardian. It's had other loot and a corpse on it this entire time over very, very uneven and rough terrain. So you're actually somewhat surprised that it's still holding up, especially as well as it is. Like, there may be a little bit of fraying in some of the burlap materials or something like that, but all the ropes are still holding strong and not frayed or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You do notice, though, that the raw meat that you've been carrying around, I'm not sure who has it on them.
It would probably be on the donkey, honestly.
Yeah, but a vast majority of that has rotted away too. I mean, you could use it for maybe bait or something like that, but wouldn't risk eating it without purifying it or something like that.
Yeah, we kind of forgot
yeah?
about that, honestly.
Yeah.
I can purify.
I mean,
Purify some of it.
Yeah, if you want to use a purify foam water, all non-magical and rendered free of poison and disease. Yeah, so it's diseases and stuff. So after the spell clears through it, you'd probably have maybe 5 to 8 pounds of meat usable left. Like, the rest of it is just literally rot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to cook that up as well, rather than need to have to, cast a spell every time, because even so, it's not going to be, infinite in how much we get out of that.
Yeah.
No. And like you guys had more. You guys had way more than that. It's the fact that like the actual meat
Yeah.
itself has degraded to nothingness, and that 5 to 8 pounds
Yellow?
is literally the center of the meat after you wipe the slime that's left off,
Right.
and then purify that.
Oh,
That's
I've
what's
just
left.
got into a game.
Mm-hmm.
I've just gotten into my.
But with that, is probably half an hour after you come back up from the river would come up and join you guys. She doesn't really bring anything to light about anything. She seems to have told you guys what she figured out about the dungeon while you guys were in there, about the story between the alligator and the man and everything. But she seems almost content, like someone who's read a good book. You'd think that the time that she's spent the last couple of hours going over the pictures and the hieroglyphs and symbols and everything has been almost like a storybook to her, and she's just had a time enjoying it.
Yeah, I'd speak to her. You've got quite an interest in this sort of thing, don't you?
I mean, not necessarily in these sorts of things themselves, but I mean, like I said before we left, it's good to keep your mind preoccupied and find distractions while traveling long distances sometimes. And I mean, stories are stories, whether they're true to life or fantasy.
You don't think the stories that you read on the thing are real?
I mean, as real as any other mythology or mythos, really. I mean, we live in stranger times than the past in some ways, but also the past has been tumultuous and quite eventful as well. I wouldn't say the events haven't happened, but it's like any story. They get diluted and changed over time. To use a real world thing, Chinese whispers happens. I don't know what they'd have in this world for Chinese whispers.
Sure.
Tabaxi whispers.
Chilton whispers.
Yeah.
Oh, well, of course, but I mean, it's hard for me to picture someone going to such lengths, and I gesture to the, monument behind me, over just a story.
Probably linked to one of their gods. I mean, I don't know too much about the gods themselves of Chult or anything like that, but a lot of their structures and shrines and such, they tend to be based off of the 9 gods, I believe they were called. It was some number of them.
I'll admit, I don't really know much of the culture of the area. We were sort of transported here quite literally and quite suddenly. Not much time to prepare or anything. Not that I necessarily would. It's not necessarily something that strikes my fancy, as it were, but it's somewhat interesting, I suppose.
You should kind of give a slow nod.
Well, I mean, the stories, if you can, I guess, imagine them. I mean, it's not like there's written words or actual compendiums of stories. It's all, a lot of it's based off of pictures and trying to discern and translate what they mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
3
hours. Yeah.
This
game's
isn't
3 hours.
part of the knight's perception, but everyone give a
Minimum.
perception roll.
Okay.
Adventuring, bro. You know, RPG style games. You know how they take time to play. Exactly like this. But like we're talking 3 years of RPG gameplay. I know, right? But that's why we only do it 1 day every week. If we do it 2 days every week, it just gets overwhelming.
Shit, no, I'd play D&D every day of the week.
Ugh.
But give us a perception.
Hell yeah.
Stuff like that.
Give us a perception.
D&D 6 days of the week, and then Tiny Teen is D&D DLC the 7th.
Yeah. Once we get out.
Nah, I've done with that game. They changed it too much. They changed the game too much. That was really nice.
Greg,
I'm not sure if he's aware he's unmuted.
I think he's probably deafened himself or something. No. Greg, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, well, you've been unmuted this whole time.
Oh, have I?
Yeah, and I've asked for a perception roll. So give me a perception.
My bad. I've got guests, so I'm gonna have to do two.
Not quite the
Also-
whole time, so.
Also, not gonna lie, did not picture you to look like that, Grim.
Yeah, well, you know,
That's you.
that's me.
I don't know why, but I didn't expect a beard.
Oh, it's a huge beard, too.
Yeah.
It looks like
correct.
it looks like you've taken time
Ends
to, you
all
know,
around.
around groom it.
But,
Yeah, well, like I said, I haven't brushed it today.
The thing is, one of us rolled a 4, one of us rolled a 10, and one of us rolled a 7.
It's impressive.
Yeah. But you guys are gathered around this campfire and talking and relaxing, whatever you might be doing. You hear from far to the south, like off the map this way.
Mm-hmm.
You hear it crashing through the woods. It doesn't sound like it's being made by anything massive, like the T-Rex or anything. It's not knocking down trees or anything like that, but it's a crashing of something through the forest. It's not so close that you'd think you'd have to worry about it, but there's something happening out there.
Does it sound like it's coming towards us?
No, it doesn't sound like it's
Nah, you move.
gaining or losing any distance, almost like it's running parallel west to east, I guess, to you guys.
Personally, I'm fully content not investigating it, but, you know, if one of you would like to, feel free. I can give you, can I? Yeah, I can give you a pass without a trace if you want to, you know, check it out, Roland.
Is it close enough that pass without trace would I think I would be able to get there with a pass without trace?
You're pretty sure that even if you don't find or see what is making the racket, it sounds like enough noise that they would be leaving a decent trail behind them. Like it sounds like maybe someone or a group of someone's running through the forest. Not sure whether it would be a kind of fleeing running, because it's kind of just crashing and trees or branches snapping and everything. But they could be running from something to something. It just sounds like someone making moves through a forest quickly.
When are people not running from something?
Yeah, well, in this area.
Yeah. I would have to come with you because I do have to keep up a 30-foot range, but like if you really want to go investigate it, I'll come with you.
I sort of want to go investigate it, but I sort of also think I'll get lost, so I'll probably just leave it.
That is fine.
It can't be anything good, can it?
Probably not.
I don't know. Can it?
Gosh, I mean, it could be, but what are the odds? All right, let's go check it out. And I
We
will
need to go check it out.
Alright.
pass without trace. I will also mage armor. And I will make a stealth roll myself. Oh!
At least it has plus 10. It's
Wow.
okay. You have plus 10.
Ugh.
Even if it's a 1.
Oh, look at that range. A 1 and a 20.
Yeah.
Am I just taking that stealth roll I did before?
Yeah. We'll keep that for this.
Well,
I'll
it's
choose
25.
for this time. I'll choose for this time now to slip my armor on.
You're gonna stay behind and put your armor on?
Oh, what was happening actually?
These guys are going to explore. Well, not explore, but go investigate some crashing you heard to the south.
yeah. I was to say, would be enough time to put my armor on and then go with them, or
I mean, do they want to wait around?
Weren't you already
Like-
wearing your armor?
You
I
got-
was.
You
Yeah.
were already wearing the armor because you went
Yep.
in the dungeon.
Oh, I'll go with the group then and investigate.
Oh, give us the stealth roll with disadvantage. But you have plus 10 to it because I assume he would chuck it onto you as well.
Mhm. Yeah, it's everybody within range.
But what is it? A stealth check? Please
Yeah.
don't.
With disadvantage.
Couldn't be worse than mine. I mean,
Oh,
well,
Oh.
okay.
Oh,
alright.
that was
River, Flask, and Big Smart will stay behind at the camp for you guys.
Mhm.
You leave, and sure enough, within probably 5 minutes, you find what looks like a small group. If someone wants to give me a investigation or insight, actually,
Inside.
have a look,
I
see.
can do an insight.
insight
Yep.
or investigation, either or. Actually,
I've
they
got
both
plus.
go.
I've got
Okay.
3 to
Would
insight.
love
got
to
plus-
give insight. I got 6.
Yeah. You
I've got I've got plus 0 on both.
Yeah, that's fine. With a 15, you see that it was probably a group of, you'd guess, 3 people. Humanoids, probably normal humanoid shape, 6 to 7 feet tall, maybe. And they were running through the jungle. It doesn't seem like they were fleeing from something. There's the only tracks and marks left along the path is the 3 sets of footprints and I guess the trails that those would leave if they were moving quickly, broken branches and leaves pushed out of the way and everything like
You
that.
said it did not look like they were fleeing from something?
Not as far as you could guess.
Okay.
There's no extra tracks behind them or anything like that. Or following them, I guess.
And there were 3 of
Okay.
them?
Yes.
Did we have our rest and whatnot?
No.
You
No,
did
we
not.
don't.
You would have had a short rest, but not a long rest.
What does it restore HP? Does it?
If you use hit dice. Which you're a bit late to do because you're already down
Yeah.
about.
I wonder if these are those 3 that came upon us that one night.
Do we follow the path?
Hmm.
Oh, what happened there? I forgot about those 3. There. What happened there?
They were searching for something for their master.
Mm-hmm.
They did not believe you had anything to do with it.
They were
Ah.
like Utani or something.
You auntie.
Whatever.
Not that you know that.
Oh, we didn't actually know that? Okay, fair.
No, you didn't. They you were always dealing with them in the dark from a distance. It was just if you saw the names on the token. I
Gotcha,
don't know how
gotcha.
they should. But yeah, they were just hooded figures to you guys, basically. And yeah,
Like about how long ago did they pass through there? I mean, like how long did...
you're only 5 minutes behind them. Like you could keep following them, and whenever they stop, you would probably be able to find them again easily, as long as they haven't started covering their tracks or anything like that.
And how
Did-
good of a landmark is this sort of, monument here? Like, Could we follow it a little bit, or not so much?
If you have light, you're pretty confident that if you could, find this trail or follow this trail back, you could head in the general direction. But in the quickly encroaching darkness, you really feel like it could be a risk of getting lost at night. I mean, you guys have gotten lost in the middle of the day a couple of times now as you're walking around, let alone bashing through woods at night. But as it stands now, you're 100% confident you could turn around right now and get back to camp.
I'm a little bit worried about maybe getting lost if I do this, but I think if I could see in the dark and sprint after them, do I think I could catch up to them? Because I'll use three times my movement speed.
Yeah. I will say you possibly could, because they, you'd hazard a guess that since they're not fleeing from something, they may not be going the fastest pace they could ever move. But at the same time, you don't know these lands. It is quickly becoming dark, and your dark vision doesn't allow for like clarity and everything like that. So you possibly could, but we would do it off of rolls.
Well, what I'm thinking is, since I'd be able to just follow the trail back, Riod, would you mind staying here as a landmark, a point of reference?
That makes me feel iffy, but I suppose so.
Yeah.
I can just follow the trail back to you, and I just want to see who they are, since I can run after them and then run back.
I'm not saying this because I have anything bad planned for you or anything, but with your dice rolls through this game so far, are you sure you want to?
Yeah.
I understand your curiosity, but... And again, you're free to do whatever you wish, but I don't think I would. We have others, we have all our supplies, we just can't leave at a moment's notice.
There are times to split the party, and there are times where you don't split the party. In the middle of unknown lands, as it's going nighttime, to run off after some unknowns, probably not the time to split the party. Just my player opinion. Not saying that as DM, just saying that as if I was a party member with you. But it is your choice.
I think with the advice from the party members, I think I would probably change my mind. But it's like, Roland's still not, he's not great. He's not the brightest.
That's fine. Well,
We're getting there with them.
with that, then, if people decide to go back to camp, you guys make it back to camp.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Like I said, you guys were basically 100% sure the path wasn't so far away, and you didn't follow it so far. You basically followed it just enough to get an idea of the tracks out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you get back, and by this time, night's starting to set in fully. The other three, not quite worried, but they were definitely keeping an eye on the direction you guys left in.
Well, and I would talk to everyone. We're not entirely sure what that was. 3 people, as best as I can tell, running. Not running away from anything, but just making all possible speed that they could in whatever direction it was.
Would you say they were trying to run away, trying to run past us as fast as they can, or?
If I would hazard a guess, I wouldn't think they'd have any knowledge of us. They just happen to be near us.
Yeah, the path that you saw and the little part that you followed didn't seem like they were taking a circle path around your area or anything. They were just A to B, let's get there as soon as possible.
Alright.
And with that, we will go into nighttime. If we want to
I'm gonna climb that tree now.
take our rolls with advantage, because I think, we still have the...
Can we still do an advantage? I mean, far be it from me to be that guy, but...
Well, I usually go 3 because that's a 12-hour rest. And,
Okay.
I mean, a long rest is only meant to be 8, but I've always pictured, 12 or roundabout between 8 and 12 being the hours. So yeah, I'm happy with giving advantage between the 3 groups of 2.
Fair enough then.
I mean,
When we get
like that's the thing too. Since I can jump on two,
Yeah.
if we,
that's another
I
thing.
can.
If someone's extra tired one night or something like that, Roland can take over an extra shift.
Yeah.
First watch with Riyadh passes rather quietly. The constant bubbling of the river is almost soothing at this point. I mean, you've spent a couple of nights by the river and everything, but most of the time you've been in the jungle, and the nights have either been deathly silent or constant critter noises. So an almost peaceful, idyllic few hours goes past. As Roland takes over watch, some rain starts setting in. Not the heavy monsoon that you've had to deal with quite a number of times while being out here. It's just a light pattering. And then during Jake's watch,
Just quickly, sorry to interrupt. I'll set up the rain catcher.
that's fine. Give me a survival roll.
Would I be able to step in and help him out with it and give him a survival roll off that?
No. It's a pretty easy kit set. You basically set up a frame, chuck a tarp over top of it, and there's your water catcher. You over I assume you'd leave it the night, even through the second watch and everything. But
Yeah.
that night it probably fills up enough that you'd be able to fill up 2 or 3 water skins worth. But Greg or Jake, your watch also passes quite quietly. It the rain and the river and everything, it's peaceful, and everyone seems to wake up the next morning. I mean, not to tell you how you would feel, but if you were to wake up in higher spirits, today would probably be one of the days.
I thought too.
Just as the rain starts receding, as the morning sets in, and looks like it's going to be a decent day ahead of us.
Okay. Well, I suppose we should just pack up and continue on our journey.
I would like to not to
Sure.
try and point people in directions or anything. I'm not doing that at all. Just it may have slipped people's minds. Yeah, there are
Yeah.
2 boats here, and you did realize that amazingly, in amongst all the destruction and rotting wood and materials of the camp and everything, the boats actually look somewhat sturdy, and you would probably even hazard a guess towards still waterworthy.
Yeah. And, I'd want to give them once over, but, and again, I got to look at our stuff. I'm not, but yeah, we still have to cross the river because we're still on the one side of the river. So yeah, I mean, I would certainly suggest there are these boats. Let's give them a once over, and that's probably the easiest way to cross.
It would be.
Investigating, spending even just a few minutes investigating the boats, you don't notice any holes or any particularly weak, rotten planks in the bottoms of them. You're pretty sure you'd be able to possibly even take them further than just across the river if it was wanted. They seem well usable still.
What are we going to do with our...
But like I said, not to tell you guys, hey, take the boats. I want you guys to take the boats or anything like that. It's just, this is an option available to you. Water travel in Cholt can be a lot quicker sometimes. But you guys aren't going anywhere where there is a river with your current goal in mind.
Can you pop us onto the main map for a minute? Just so we can take a quick look at it. On the, the overworld map, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just remember, you've got all that loading to do.
Not me.
Yeah, it already preloaded earlier.
Oh yeah, because I see you guys on it when you joined. That's right. I should just do that at the start of every session.
Yeah, look, I mean, we could, in theory, take the river, 10, 20 miles down, and then, like, pop off right here or so.
I'm assuming.
Is there a marking on the map here?
Kind of hard to...
Like, I don't think it would say Camp Vengeance on the map, but would there be a square there?
It wouldn't be a square. There would be something there that it's definitely made to denote some form of structure or point of interest or something like that out that way. You wouldn't have an idea of what it might be, because yeah, like we said, it doesn't say Camp Vengeance or anything. I might curveball you and throw something else there, but there is something there.
Anyway, I'd still point at that and suggest going there. I'd be like, we could go a bit further down and see what this is as well.
Well, to what end? We have a reason to be going to Mabala, and that's the resurrection of Jake's son. But, and I understand we took some time out to look at these ruins, but we stumbled upon this area. We didn't take time out of our journey to go here. I would think it.
Yeah, I would like to continue on to Mabala. We could always come back
Yes.
to Camp Vengeance.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I suppose you were right. Yeah, but I do kind of agree that the river might be, well, taking the boats might be the best way across the river.
Sure, and does the river flow down, or is it one of those weird ones that flows up?
No, it flows down. So it flows from Camp Vengeance to Nine Zaru.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever met a river that comes in from the ocean.
Well, no, but most rivers run north to south, like here.
Yeah.
Even though there's not much there on the map, I'd assume that this river like links up here somehow. Like even if there's a lake in the middle, I'd assume that somehow these two rivers would meet up.
Could be. Makes sense. But that said, I don't feel very confident on the water in my abilities or skills or anything like that. Does anyone else have a bit more experience? I couldn't tell you what 10 miles on a river paddling upstream, really looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a point. To get to Camp Vengeance from where you guys are now, you would be going upstream, so against the current.
Alright, so we're just across the river here. I'm not really too fond of the water.
We could use the boats to just ford across, couldn't we?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
And like worst comes to worst, we can always make some sort of rope thing to drag people across if need be.
Well, you're pretty confident you'd even be able to fit the donkey onto the boats. There's
Right,
two
okay.
of them.
That was my next question. Is
Yeah.
donkey.
Yeah,
There's
that
two
was what I
boats,
was worried about.
roughly, 6 humanoids. So yeah, you'd probably be able to put 4 in one, 2 in the other with the donkey.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're carrying around a shield guardian or anything anymore. It's just your guys' supplies.
Well, I suppose it's probably for the best to try that then.
All right. Well, give me 2 athletics rolls, one from each person who would like to row across, and you can ask River or Flask to do so as well.
Athletics and strength.
Yes.
So I've got a -2 to that.
Oh. I got 0. So, I mean, like, that's better than negative.
For reference, these guys both have 0 to that as well.
Yeah, I've got 0.
I mean, I guess
Wow, you guys
I would
you guys
rather
not a very
roll the
strong
0
party.
than-
Oh, we really need a belt of giant strength.
Yeah.
just one of them amongst us.
Oh, this part of the river where you're at currently is actually really slow and quite calm. You manage to get across really easily, actually, as in you don't actually travel down the river any. Whether it was you were slightly paddling upriver while doing it and moved down, or whether it's just that slow that you got across quick enough you didn't really move, but the camp is still only on the other side of the river to you.
How deep is the river here?
Do you want to go in for a swim? It's not
Can I?
No, you can't see it at all. It's not clear. It's
Okay.
like Wanganui River dirt.
Grab a stick, poke it.
I mean, at the shore, where even if you were to get ankles wet, it's still, pretty shallow. And then, unless you actually went out into the river, you wouldn't be able to guess how deep it was.
Well, I'm not gonna gamble. Like, if anything, I'd grab a stick and poke it and just see how far it went down before hitting the bottom. But other than that, I wouldn't really want to jump into the middle.
No, I wouldn't imagine so. But you guys are on the other side of the river now. We will move you 1 square there. And then we can travel for the day. Someone give us the survival check. What was
Yes,
that?
that was me.
Please don't make me do it.
Yes. I'll do that, eh?
Yes, please do.
Get us first now. I'll go.
Maybe I should have done it.
You expect someone with proficiency towards it to roll a lot higher than that.
As you're traveling,
Did we teleport into the ocean?
yeah, something like that. But as you're traveling, you lose track of where you might be. You're not sure you're going backwards. You're pretty sure you're still moving towards the mountain some direction, but you've lost yourself in amongst the trees. So give us the 3 watches, because I don't much care for consistently doing camp setup RP unless someone wants to do something specific
good.
during it.
Stealthing in a tree.
Yeah. Man, you just like burning those good rolls, don't you?
Hey!
Apparently.
I rolled a 21 on that perception check.
Yeah, not bad. No, you rolled a 18. Your bonus made it a 21.
I don't see anything, but at least they don't see me.
Yeah. The night passes quietly. Almost too quietly. It's one of those nights where there aren't even bugs chirping. You're not sure if something's happening out in the world or if it's just everything's dormant for the night, but it's the kind of silence that your ears kind of make a ringing just so there's some form of noise there. It almost feels like the lack of ambience is pressing in on you. But nothing untoward happens to you guys for that night. Give us another survival. Let's see if you find yourself. And just so you know, because you guys have a guide and everything that is affecting the DC, I'm just not giving you guys advantage because it's an easier DC for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like to do them. Greg, unless someone else is getting us lost today.
Do you want me to do it?
I mean, I don't mind getting us lost either.
Oh, someone
I
else
think,
roll it.
I think
then,
Greg
please,
stepped
Greg.
away. Yeah, so.
I'm more than likely definitely going to get us lost. So I would really prefer not to do the survival rolls.
With a 15, you manage to find yourself again. And you guys are there.
Can I
So
take some sort of look around the area and maybe try and map this square out?
well, no, that's what I was going to say. This is where you guys are now, and then you guys are traveling today, so you can, with a 15, you get to find yourself again and pick where you go. So I'm assuming it would probably be here.
Mm-hmm. I would think so.
Then we do this.
So if we travel it maps it out. So I don't have to actively
Yeah,
worry about doing it.
No, I'll say that between the lot of you, you'd slowly spend the day, filling in. None of you are full cartographers, so you're not going to be able to do path maps and everything like that. But you can say, this area is still trees. This area is still trees. There's something here.
Yeah, like I'd at least suggest we be doing our best to at least minor cartographize.
Yeah, and you guys have been doing that. But you guys have also spent a lot of time traveling on the already mapped areas.
Mm-hmm.
And getting lost in the already mapped areas.
Well, I think it worked out.
Throughout the day, though, you notice it's getting colder. It has been the past couple of days, but today it's noticeably colder. Whether it's because you're traveling towards the mountains, or maybe the seasons are changing, but things starting to get chilly. Not quite enough that you guys are shivering all day and risking pneumonia or anything like that, but every now and then there will be a particularly biting gust of wind that just manages to penetrate through all your clothes and everything.
Well, of course, I would be me and ask the guides if this is typical, or... And of course, I assume the answer is somewhat the same as always.
Pretty much. They turn around and say, "Oh, it is coming into cold season. I believe the mainlanders may call it winter."
And how cold does it get? Are we talking freezing, or?
In some areas,
Should hope
the
not.
fact that we're going up to the mountains, we might want to think about doing some hunting and trying to make some pelts or something for warmth. But the general forest is perfectly survivable in the winter. It's just not comfortable.
Mhm.
Not that Cholt is ever comfortable.
Right. Well, then I think we should start doing that. We are... I would also like to remind someone, likely in, hostile goblin or Batiri territory, so that's a concern. But I think it would probably be a good idea to try to make some warmer clothes before we head closer towards the mountains. Or at least doing it while we're heading closer towards the mountains.
When you mention about being in possible Batiri territory, Big Smart would pipe up and
Yeah. This is owl territory. I should have said the other day, but we've been traveling through for a little bit now.
Smack dab in the center.
Oh, it's kind of border to our old land, but when we move, I imagine they take our land, you know?
Yeah. Well, in that case, I'd probably
Did you leave much behind?
What was that?
Did you leave much behind when you moved?
I mean, nothing we use. We leave scraps and stuff, or non-essential things.
Is there enough incentive that someone would want to reclaim what you've left?
Well, they would
Oh, no.
take the land.
We leave nothing like that. The most we leave is the land. And I mean, we take new land when we land. Ha, land. He kind of chuckles at his terrible pun.
Well, in light of that, I think we should make all haste towards the mountains. And then as we get to the foot of the mountains, perhaps we should do our hunting there in order to, again, sort of work on some warmer clothing.
Do you know which direction your old land was? Because I think we should probably avoid the exact area of where your last land was.
I mean, exact land. Even to me, tree looked like tree, but probably that way. And he'd point off to the west somewhere. East, sorry.
So should we head more north the next day, guys?
Well, I think
we
we should
head north and then
continue on to
so that one.
The west. Because, I mean, if we think about it, the idol was around here or something like that. So
Yeah.
we might as well keep on heading away from that area, because we know they were at least active in that area. That's my thoughts on it.
I mean, either way, it's like just two squares.
Yeah.
But it's yeah. It's just a suggestion. It doesn't really matter. I would just
Well, for now, give us 3 perceptions, 1 each.
I can't see shit.
I can't find shit.
I'm not sure if Greg's back or not yet, so I'll just do it.
I think he may not be.
Yeah. He sees more than you guys anyway. But throughout the night, Riod and Jake, whenever he's back, you guys will notice, and I mean, Roland wouldn't naturally notice, but if anyone happened to point it out to him, he could see it. But from this distance, you're starting to see the mountains a bit closer. They're quite large and looming, but they also have what looks like storm clouds hanging over them. You haven't heard any thunder or lightning or anything like that, but there's definitely dark, grey, grim clouds constantly settled over the mountains. But nothing happens during the night, particularly. It was just you guys happened to get a good glimpse through the trees and actually see what could be your intended location.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we will survival roll. Hopefully Jake's back short.
Yeah, I'm back.
Alright. I rolled your perception for you.
Alright. Survival shit.
$18, yep. With an 18, you guys stay on course. So we're going to the west or north?
We need to discuss that, really.
I vote the west.
These two.
We
talked
did.
about it a little
It's
bit.
a short discussion about it.
That's
yeah.
actually a good idea. We need to really discuss it. Yeah.
My reasoning being, we know the goblins were active over in this direction.
Yeah.
And while I don't exactly know where they're based, it's probably closer to that than not, I would figure. But who knows? We could be head right in the middle of them as well.
Says they would take the western route. Far western, yeah.
I was thinking northern,
Northwestern.
but we don't
Yeah, here we can.
know which way to go.
Oh,
I was saying this
you're
way. I
out.
was saying that way. Whoops.
You're outnumbered, sorry, Fraser. And we will get perception rolls.
Alrighty.
I'm just away from my computer. Can you roll for my perception?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Oof, nice.
What, do I actually say something when someone else is rolling?
Yeah,
You roll a 20.
You got a crit. Stealing my crits to kill you guys with. Come on, man. The clouds that you saw the night before, they don't even seem to be moving, and they're definitely some form of storm clouds. You can see from this distance, now that you're another good 10 miles closer, you can see almost the haze of a constant rainfall over the mountains.
Thunderous weather ahead.
Yeah, it could be a constant thing as well. As in, there may not be waiting it out. River or Flask brought up a good point in the fact that we'll likely need some warm clothes here soon, and better to get them now than wait. But I don't relish the idea of mountain climbing with a storm going on around it.
Yeah, that is a good point. So whereabouts would we get warm clothes from around these parts?
Well, we'd have to hunt the animals and make them ourselves.
All right. So we set up camp, go hunting.
I'd still think we'd want to head at least to the foot of the mountains. And then we can set up from there. Maybe, just maybe we're overthinking it. And there's routes and trails, and the mountain won't be as bad of a climb as I'm afraid that it is.
Well, I'm really hoping there is a path that just leads directly to the temple up the mountain. That would be the dream.
That's what I'd hope.
Some would say.
They said there was a town there, didn't they? Is that what they said it was?
Are you asking the guides?
Well, I was asking the party because the goblin said there was something up there, right? That they pointed us to a thing.
The goblins were never really allowed up the mountain. They know that there's something up there, or that there was something up there at some point, but they've never been up there, at least in recent generations. I believe River and Flask would have possibly told you the stories of Umbala and about how it was a village, was being one of the operative words there.
I was just thinking we'd been told it was some sort of town. That's why I was just thinking, like, yeah, because I was thinking that if it was a town, there'd surely be some way to get there. But if we didn't know it was a town, then yeah.
So I'd want to, double down on that a little bit more, and certainly ask, River, if nothing else, more about the city. Any stories surrounding it? There was a was in there.
Just that it used to be some kind of Cholton village or something. no one's heard of it in at least half a decade. I mean, expeditions that go out that far often don't return, if at all, but in any kind of shape to be sharing stories or believed of stories. We don't know personally anything about it, just that it is or was there.
Right. Well,
Which again isn't to say we know where it is either. We just know it's on the mountain somewhere, or was.
right. Yeah. Well, I guess that's a little bit more than we knew just a little while ago. I still say we head towards the foot of the mountain, as it were, and then we set up camp and we see about getting some warm clothes. And hopefully, the reason is why Mambala is a was is not because of some sort of ever-present storm.
That would probably be a bad thing.
Onward.
With that, give us one last lot of perception check.
Can you do me again? I'm still having a smoker.
Womp womp.
I paid you back for the 20, bro.
No, it was that
fail.
25 you wasted on the stealth roll.
You got a 2. But
What? So I must have rolled a 4.
no, your perception 0, dude. Your
Oh,
perception.
I thought perception was one of the ones that was -2.
You're good on that for now. But the night, although it's quote unquote quiet, nothing happens. There's definitely sounds again, noises, and the sounds of the jungle coming back. But along with that, you hear not a roar, but kind of just a tone coming from the mountains. It's not like a loud or particularly perceptible. It's more in those few seconds of quiet now and then you can hear just a slight tone, almost like wind going through a really deep wind chime or something like that.
Who was this? Or was this
Who's what?
everybody that could hear this?
This is everybody, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is just a general is happening-ness. Give us one last survival, Jack.
Yep.
Let's see if we get to the foot of the mountains.
Come on. We're all good. Oh,
Wow.
Can I take it? Can you give me the right side number? No.
We're in the middle of the city.
It was literally a formality. The DC was 5 because you've got a guide and you're literally basically at the point where you need to be, and you get a 1.
Oh.
It's like the donkey doesn't want to move.
Yeah, it's like stay in place.
You make distance and you're at the foot of the mountain. You just don't know whereabouts at the foot of the mountain.
Right. Well, you know, either way, like I said before, I think we should, work on setting up an actual camp. How do the mountains look? I mean, I'm assuming treacherous.
The mountains?
Uh-huh.
Give me a second, because I thought I had already added it, but I must have deleted it in lieu of a different one. And it will say mysterious note. It is obviously not a note. But the mountains that you can see look a lot like this, but with a lot more cloud and a lot darker and more dreary. And massive spanning.
So whereabouts is the temple or the city that's meant to be on?
We don't
on that
know.
mountain?
We don't know.
You don't know 100%.
So we're sort of looking at like sheer cliffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's areas and parts where there might be paths or less sheer cliffs straight up and stuff. But where you are now, it's almost a complete straight up rock face, as if this was meant to be part of some kind of ravine or something. But there's no other side to the ravine.
Mhm. Well, let's put off the problem by working on something else for now.
I like it. Let's get on warm clothes first.
Because I don't know.
My instant thought was maybe walking around to see if we might find a path somewhere.
I mean, you get the feeling that
looks pretty.
unless you're wanting to, like, that's just a representation. That is not the cliffs
yeah.
exactly. That's something I managed to find to show you guys some mountains. But you do very well get the feeling that unless you want to be climbing what looks like even this first stint would be 200-300 feet of straight up rock face, you're probably going to need to follow the foot of the mountain to find some things, find ways up or something like that. Even just something a bit less looming as this point is.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and again, you know, the picture didn't show it. But, like, is there snow on these mountaintops and whatnot? Can we see that far because of the storm and whatnot?
You get the feeling that if there wasn't this constant rain, and at this point, although you're not being directly rained upon, it kind of comes down the sides and everything and keeps the entire mountain wet. But you get the feeling like near the top, past the rain clouds possibly, there would probably be snow, or if these rain clouds didn't exist, there would be snow further up. You're literally right at the foot of the mountains at this point, so you don't think there would be snow this far down.
Okay. So yes, we will need, you know, warm weather stuff. We will likely need more rope. I'm sure as heck we're gonna need more like climbing gear, you know, pittons and whatever, even if they're just, you know, crappy wooden ones, because I think we only have like, I don't know, 50 of them or something, maybe even not that many. And we're at the end of it also possibly, you know, unless divine fortune favors us, you know, might be parting ways with our donkey here. But again, yes, this was all in character.
Big Smart would pipe up then and say, well, we not allowed up mountains. Queen not like it. You know I've got to go back soon. I can take the hee-haw with me if you want. If you come back to village, I happy give it back.
Well, it certainly has a better chance of surviving if you were to take it with you.
I mean, yeah, I look after. I like the thing, and I make sure that rest of tribe not eat it. Because let's face it, they eat it if given chance.
Yeah.
I reckon, yeah, Big Smarts, you can take the donkey back.
Oh,
That would be real nice if we could do that.
Well, I stay tonight with you lot, and then I start heading back tomorrow. I need to get back
queen in village. You know, we might have war soon. I want to be in war, and with not being allowed up rocks, and honestly, I don't like rocks, especially these big ones. They're too big. I mean,
Well, we appreciate you coming this far out with us, certainly.
of course, your village friends.
Whew.
Oh no. What was that?
Feel honoured to be village friend.
We'll definitely need to allocate some equipment though, because he doesn't need to be taking everything, obviously.
No.
Do we have a list of what's on the donkey at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the shared equipment should have everything that is on the donkey.
Whereabouts do we find that on the tabs? I've never
It's-
encountered that before.
In your players, it should be at the top above your character sheet.
Oh, shit, equipment.
Yeah,
I've been looking at
it's
it
just
for a
a
while now.
paper thing.
Well, to be fair, we probably should have been using that like bug repellent salve and the incense salve, and we didn't really. But so I don't mind if we retroactively take a couple from us. But the grappling hooks we'll want, the chains we'll want, the rope we'll want, obviously the climber's kit, hammer, pittons.
I honestly feel like we might want to bring the shovel, but it also sounds like I'm being stupid saying that.
I could use those hunting traps as well.
I shall be back in a couple of minutes. You guys know, or should know, your weights, how much you can carry.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna grab something.
sort out what you can and what you want to take with you. Big Smart will happily take items with him. Anything that's left on the litter, he will take back with him. But they're not part of the promise that you'll get it back necessarily. I mean, you don't think he will just straight up start handing things out the second he's back to the village, but it's also a lot of stuff to keep an eye on, and he's not actually, keeping an eye on your stuff. It's just more of a factor of, you don't come back, we get it, you come back, I'll give you your donkey back, and possibly some of your stuff.
Yeah.
As long as we get the donkey back.
Because I'm real close to my limit. But I'm going to use the restroom and grab a drink too, so I'll be right back as well.
I
shall be back.
I personally can't carry a lot.
I am back.
She's out too?
So this will be a big point for you as well, Greg.
Yep.
With your armor, because you're basically going to have to make the decision of, will you be wearing your armor from this point out?
And the role playing aspect too. This part's coming up for all of us. It's gonna be a really role playing aspect, when we get up to the mountain and stuff like that. When we get to the temple.
Oh yeah. I was just meaning more like you need
The
to
weights and shit.
weight and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, as a general rule, I'm happy with armor not being so considered towards weight.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you with the distortion.
So good.
For the most part, I don't mind quote unquote equipped things not counting towards your weight. So like if you're going to be consistently always wearing your armor and always taking the negative effects to having your armor, you can have it basically not count towards your weight, because I know that's basically, 2/3 of your weight just in your
Yeah,
armor.
it is. And it's the only protection I really have.
Yeah. I mean, you could take Theodore's leather armor, and then you've got
Yeah,
some-
but it's the 18 though. It's the 18 DC.
yeah,
You get
Yeah.
real nice to have.
Can a paladin use light armor?
yeah. You can, if you have heavy armor, you have the previous sets as well. Same as you can't have martial weapon experience without having simple weapon experience.
I
You
think
can't
that's
have
simple. Yeah, I
heavy
think
armor.
that's
Yeah, you should do, because you have martial.
Yeah.
In fact, I think as a life cleric, you have all forms of combat.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do I have all forms of security? Because when I was looking online, it didn't say much about it.
But what?
All right, I'm back.
Yo. I'm pretty sure it's just exotic weapons you won't have proficiency for, Greg.
Does anyone have exotic weapon proficiency just to start with, though?
I don't think so, no. Mainly because there aren't too many weapons in 5e that are actually considered exotic.
Yeah.
Unlike 3.e, where you needed short sword, long sword, two-handed sword, exotic sword, scimitar, katana.
It wasn't quite that bad.
It so was. But no, yeah, so sort what you're taking.
Just having a quick smoke at the moment.
Yeah.
I really can't carry a lot. But is there
Well, you
anything
get
I should take?
It's what you get for making your strength your dump stat.
For rogue, strength is a dump stat, and by the way, I've got 2 dump stats, so I had to make some real bad decisions there.
Yeah.
You know, the most important thing, without a shadow of a doubt, is the ropes, the climber's kit, and then the extra pittance. The pittance weigh a ton, though. Like, they're a quarter of a pound each, you know. Like, that was the donkey's weight, practically.
Yeah. Oh, and just in case,
I can
pretty
take
sure
half
it's
of the
a droid.
pittance.
Oh, hold up,
Pretty
boys.
sure it's a droid.
Gotta take a phone call.
All good. Pretty sure as a droid it doesn't affect you so much, but I was also telling these guys that things that are like armor and stuff that is basically equipped, I'm happy not having count towards your weight. So like Greg, if he decides now that he's going to basically be always wearing his armor and everything, I'm happy with it not having a weight to it, because he's not carrying it around and stuff like that.
Okay, well,
So
And
going
I
off that,
I would go so far as to say your beehive would go as far as that as well, because I noticed that's 25.
oh yeah, but that's fluff. I got 30 pounds of beehive I'm carrying around with me.
I suppose, yeah, it is part of like your
Yeah.
character's punishment or whatever. But that's just a personal thing.
Yeah, well,
like
at the end of the day, I don't wear any armor, so
Yeah. that's why I said I don't think it affects you so much because you're not wearing armor. But yeah,
so if my armor doesn't weigh anything, I can take an extra 50 feet of rope and half of the pittance.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's freeing up space like this.
yeah.
I mean, this is meant to be a grueling, terrible module and everything, but I still want to have it fun for you guys. I don't want you guys to get to an objective and then be like, damn, we got to lose all our gear because our personal equipment takes up all this.
Like, how do the guides look for weight too? Because again, I mean, the rope's pretty heavy.
They've basically just got their personal supplies. They've got a pack each. One's got a Dungeoneer's and one's got a what's the other one? Explorers. So the Explorers pack has some stuff to help out. They can take another 40 odd pounds each and still have a bit of wiggle room.
Okay, because
Well-
the leather working is also important, as well as the alchemy
Yeah.
jug, which I don't know what weighs.
I'm just going to quickly edit out what I've taken because I've taken
So
rope
that-
and
I think
pythons.
that's one.
It's a pound.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's empty as far as you're aware. It just makes that sloshing sound when you slosh it
Okay.
around.
Whoops. All right, let me.
Even if a clay pot might weigh 2-3 pounds, and in an adventurer's experience, it's 1 pound. Because you guys are a step above the rest.
Alright, so I took off the things that I've taken. But if one of the guards can hold an extra 40 pounds, they can take the rest of the rope that we've got.
Yep, that's fine. And then
I can take these leather working tools. I'll take them off.
So at the moment, I've got 100 feet of rope and 25 pythons.
and then Flask will have the other 25 pythons.
The climber's kit weighs 12.
Oh, I already had 5. There's only 20 left on the donkey.
Okay. And then you said the rest.
Would
of
he,
them, right?
Did we get those animal traps? Did we take them off as well?
I know you're taking them.
Yeah, I'll take those animal traps. I could use those.
The rest of the ropes are 195 feet.
The traps are heavy, I think.
Are we just going to use them to hunt down the animals around this area
It's a
so we
good
can get
question.
clothes and all that?
Yeah, maybe. Like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't mind grabbing the traps and then abandoning the traps.
We can just use them to hunt down the animals that we need for our clothing and whatnot.
I'm trying to pick it up right now, but hunting trap. A hunting trap weighs 25 pounds.
Yeah. So we'll just use it around here and just abandon them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I grabbed the
fine.
leather working. I think I can grab another thing of rope.
We got the guards to carry one of the ropes.
Yeah. The guy.
Did you want to grab the alchemy jug?
I can grab the alchemy jug. That's just a pound. I know I can grab that.
River will grab the healer's kit for you guys as well.
It can be used in an attack. So I'm up to 47 and 147, and I think I can carry 150 without being encumbered.
Yeah, I'm on 144 at the moment.
We want to save some space for loot, don't we, guys?
I'm at 103, and I know if I go up to 108, I'll be over encumbered, but I'm not exactly sure where.
Here's the other thing that I just thought of. And again, there's also, Theodore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
I was going to get to that.
No, Theodore. Yep.
How we will do that is basically whoever is carrying him will be encumbered no matter what they're carrying.
Yep, that'll be me. That'll be Jake. Jake can carry him.
Which I figured would be Jake's burden to bear
It is.
for now.
So I
And
can
then there will be more burdens.
get a hammer. Oh, a hammer puts me right over by like 0.72.
I'm not going to split hairs over things like that. Like,
Okay.
if you're a tiny bit over, I'm not going to be like, you can't move
Fair
anymore.
enough. Fair enough. So one of them said they would grab the healer's kit, right?
Yep.
Okay.
River has the healer's kit for you guys.
I have one on me at the moment,
I got the
and then we've
alchemic
got another
jug.
one. Yeah, I've got a healer. I've had a healer's kit from the beginning, and we've got another one on the side, so which is good.
The grappling hooks, obviously. Which weigh 4 pounds each. We have 2 of them.
River can probably grab that too, actually, one of them.
Okay, so I will take that off.
And that will be her tapped out.
Okay.
And River is also tapped out with the python and the rope.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 125.
Did you grab the rest of the pythons?
Yeah,
With
he
them?
would have grabbed whatever
Okay.
Roland
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, I've just worked it out. I can take 1 more pound before being over encumbered. That's like right on the cusp.
I think. Okay, well now, with the alchemy jug, we can hopefully get water. I can start
Ooh.
devoting. Huh?
Do we want to test the alchemy jug? Make sure it's still working and not just a defunct item?
Not yet. I
mean, we should test it.
What do we
yes.
think?
We should test it. Like it
I mean,
would be
it's been
common
that
knowledge
week,
that
so-
most things work off of a daily set of charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If-
And I mean, like, we don't know whether it's had its last charges or not, so we already went 4 of them, so we might as well.
well, no,
If we're
it gets more each morning.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
if
saying.
you
Yeah, no, we've
if
burnt
you
4 of them.
used all the
already.
charges, there's a chance that it breaks.
Mhm.
So saying, yeah, we've burnt 4 of them. Might as well see if it recharges.
It's been days.
if we're gonna test it, can we test it on poison and then dip some arrows in it?
Let's instead test it using oil, because oil's one of those important things that we would need, likely to start fires and keep warm type deal.
But I do have an oil lantern on me, so if we can at least fill that up.
That's what he's meaning. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll test it on all then. So, Jake,
Yeah. Well, oil does slosh out of it.
would you say at a fast pace coming out, or?
I mean, an even pace to how much you tip up the jug, really.
So grab like a container or
Is
something
it-
and
is
start
it-
filling it up with oil.
Like generally, whenever you call on a liquid of it, like you hold it and it's empty. It feels empty. It's the weight of something that's empty. If you give it a left to right, you hear a sloshing from it. Call a liquid from it and then tip it, and it's as if it is full of that liquid. So it's not going to come streaming out like water because it's oil. It comes out in kind of a slow glug.
All right. So do we have like a jar or anything we can pour the oil that's coming out of into it?
You have some glass bottles and you have lanterns you can fill up. Yes.
Yep. I'll start filling those up.
I am going to.
Yeah.
By the way,
How much
So
will
you
it give us?
basically fill up probably 2 lanterns worth per charge that you'd use. Because I'm picturing it's a decent amount in the lamps that go in.
Is it like? I mean, I know we haven't identified it, but is it like just like this one? Would we get roughly a quart of oil out of it?
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I
dropping
don't
all
know.
my rations and picking up the climber's kit, because I'm probably the best one for it, because I at least can create food to an extent.
Oh, I've got how much?
Good honey.
So is it the numbers on the right side are your weight of the item A, and the numbers on your left is how much you've got?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah. So I've got 6 rations at the moment. So I can...
because they're not. I just have to make sure to save a spell for casting Goodberry for sustenance, and not like healing or anything.
So I'll keep my 6 rations on me, so I can spread those out before the group.
And with
Very
that,
good.
I could carry around at least one of those hunting kits, still be encumbered, but again, keeping that as a throwaway item, hunting trap, rather.
So is that a clear indication that the jug has charges?
Well, how many
We hope so.
are you using now?
Yeah, well, we just made the one thing. I mean, it's a clear indication it worked. It didn't, fizzle out.
It hasn't burnt out yet, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which it would have if it had rolled below 5.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Below 5
Level 5.
every day. We haven't used it for days.
No, not every day.
No, I understand. Yeah.
If you use all of the charges, it's 25% chance of it breaking.
Yeah.
But
Alright.
with that, I believe we would have a camp night.
Yes.
We will not worry about
Whoops.
perception rolls for. We'll say you guys managed to find somewhere that you're pretty sure nothing would be able to disturb you.
Ah.
There would be any kind of threat, whether it's a small cave or kind of in some outcroppings of rocks or something. You get a secure enough area that you don't need to worry for the night. Unless you guys are doing anything particularly stupid like setting a bonfire and having a party or something.
I wouldn't think so, but you know.
And the next morning, everyone wakes up and spends however much time they would like to spend with Big Smart before he starts his journey back.
I walk up to Big Smarts and I give him a firm handshake and say thank you before he sets off.
He seems a bit confused as to the touching of hands and everything like that, but he kind of grabs your hand and shakes it left to right. Oh, yeah, it was good traveling with you guys too. It's fun. You get into fights.
Me too. And you've got quite the fight brewing ahead of you as well.
I hope so, personally. I mean, we're probably going to lose some village people, some of the younger ones, but we're good fighters. We do well, I imagine.
When we finish with our business here, we'll be back there. For the donkey, of course.
Oh, of course. You're always welcome in village. I mean, hopefully we don't have to move. If we have to move, you may not find us so easy.
Well, that's true.
But I hope we see each other again, and good luck with the rock. You probably need it.
Yeah, we probably do.
And with that, he kind of gives everyone else a wave and starts setting on his way with your donkey in tow, leaving you guys at the foot of some quite foreboding cliffs.
I'm gonna turn to everybody and the rest of the party members and say, so, anybody ever climb a mountain before?
I mean, I used to have to climb walls from my old job, but no, I just look up and all the way up, and never once this tall.
Right. I was a bit worried at that. Well, the way I see it, two things. We'll probably need some warm clothes, so we'll need to do some hunting. And then, man, we should still take some time and scout out and see if we see anything resembling a trail or anything like that. If the stories are true, then there was a village up there. Well, people would have to come up and down from that village to hunt, to trade, to do all sorts of things. No village is secluded. So there should be some sort of trail somewhere.
If not even a horse path, just a not so steep incline somewhere.
Right.
Well, give me a... How long do you guys want to spend? Like, are we talking about the day and then we start going up a couple of hours, or are we going to make a point of trying to find it?
Oh, see, I mean, in my head, I was thinking quite some time. Like,
Yeah.
a week plus, because, it got brought to our attention we need some furs of some sort to keep warm,
Yep. Well,
I'm guessing at the moment they're like somewhere around here ish. So what my guess is that we like go down and like follow it all the way around.
awkward moment when you're like here and you go down here.
Yeah. Well, it's a little hard to see there, but I mean, the two ranges don't touch, right? Like, there's a valley.
on the map,
ish.
on
It
the
seriously
map,
looks like there's a valley.
yeah, it looks like there's a valley, but it also looks like the trees could go over it. So
Okay.
you don't know. As far as you can see, the current cliff face in front of you goes as far as you can see either direction. It either gets retaken over by trees or more cliffs.
Well, hopefully we'll figure out where we are at some point in the intervening time too.
Well, if someone wants to give a survival roll, they can.
I will run. I think. Greg stepped aside.
Yeah.
I'd prefer to save my survival roll for not being able to hunt an animal.
At the end of the first day, assuming that you would spend most of it trying to figure out where you are, maybe some of it hunting and stuff, but at the end of the first day, you're still pretty lost. Basically, give me another survival roll, because you guys are staying in the area until developments happen. We'll see how long it takes you to not be lost.
Okay.
So on the second day, if I can actually move shit, you find yourself about there.
Okay. That's kind of where I thought.
I would like to, now that we've actually got our bearings, I'd like to see what I can't do about hunting, which
Yeah.
probably isn't a lot, but still, we need to do something.
Which the same thing, we should set up this trap somewhere that we have.
Better hunting.
Well,
At least it wasn't a net one.
I will roll for Jake as well. Everyone give a survival check, and we'll say that covers a week of basically dedicated hunting between the party for pelts and furs and stuff, and we'll see what we can come up with.
Okay.
Well, that's embarrassing.
So between the four of you, because Roland doesn't seem to be having much luck with hunting this week.
I'm like throwing my fishing line out.
You don't
Why
use
aren't
a
the deer
fishing
biting?
pole.
Yeah. In fact, you guys might even catch him a couple of times fishing when he said he was going out looking for pelts. But you managed to find enough there. You're pretty sure you could get enough to make either a couple of sets of clothing or a few good heavy blankets for the party. It would probably take a few more days, but it's doable.
Say that one more time.
You'd be able to make, you'd guess, probably 2 or 3 sets of clothing, or probably enough heavy winter blankets to cover the rest of the party. River has already got a winter blanket of her own, so she's got something that when she's not keeping herself active and warm, she has wrapped around her.
Right. I think probably. I mean, I don't think probably, but I'm hoping maybe just the blankets for everyone would, and then we could get like the alchemy jug to like make a waterproofing oil or something. We could, go over these pelts with them.
Can the alchemy jug make tannin?
Probably not exactly, because like tanning oils and stuff tend to be made out of fat renders and stuff like that. But between what you harvest off the animals' bodies and everything, you're pretty sure you could, in 3, maybe 4 days, maybe even cut that in half if everyone was working on them. You'd be able to make some kind of, not necessarily waterproof, but it'd keep you warm, and although may not smell the best because it's not properly cured, or last the longest because it's not properly cured, you'd be able to make a couple of blankets that would last at least a couple of weeks before being either too smelly or too degraded to keep using. If you wanted to make things that you know would last for a while, it would take probably a bit more specialized knowledge and resources.
Can I cast Gentle Repose on the things? That's more a joke than anything.
I mean, it would stop it degrading and rotting. So, yes. I mean, yeah. Technically, you could if you were basically leaving it as just skinned pelts.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should do some work with it before.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny more than anything.
I mean, but for the factor of decay and everything, yeah, it would work. But the actual rotting of it from being, damp, uncured hide and everything like that would still take a toll sooner or later. But the actual decay itself wouldn't happen.
Right.
Right. Can we find any rhubarbs around?
Some what?
Rhubarbs.
Why?
Because you can use rhubarb juice as a pseudo-tannin.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
It's got
basically,
gallic acid in it.
How long do you guys want to spend preparing here?
Has the weather changed in this last week or so that we've been hunting?
Not in some unimaginable degree where snowstorms have set in or anything like that. It's still getting progressively chillier, but the days are still somewhat warm. I mean, it's getting colder earlier and colder at night, but it's still the early days of winter.
Mm-hmm. And over the mountain, is it still sort of this?
Yeah, it seems to be an almost ever-present storm.
Okay. Fair enough.
Natural or unnatural, you are unsure. At this point, you'd almost think it was unnatural, because it's been, a week and a half of a constant storm up here.
Yeah.
Never any lightning and thunder, though, which also may or may not strike you as odd.
In any case, then, I think we have something that should be able to keep off the worst of the chill. Should it happen, I think it's best that we head on. And, if the worst comes to worst, we could always leave. We can stop doing what we're doing and come back, try again when we're better prepared. We don't have to go until, we're
I've been trying to make
life.
suggestions and I'm talking to myself. I'm sitting there and I'm like, so is it like a windy kind of present something? Like, would you say like a hard wind?
You wouldn't be able to
tell from the foot of the mountain?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell from down here. You're kind of sheltered by the cliff face itself and the trees around you.
Just general knowledge, like usually the further you go up, the heavier the wind is.
Yeah. Well, someone give me a survival, I'd imagine.
Yes, I will be giving you that roll. Hopefully I roll
All right, Riley.
somewhat decent. That's what we roll after, aren't we? Yep, perfect.
That's very good. Really quickly, actually, like
probably 2 hours, 3 hours after you set out from where you were camped the past week and a half. You can't be sure, but it looks like there's a path leading up the cliff face.
As what you said, like I don't know, it's like is it a small path curving around the mountain?
Yeah, it kind of curls around trees and up the side of the mountain out of the tree line. It's definitely an old path if there is one there. It may be, animals use it to get up and down the mountain, but if you were to go explore it even 10, 20 feet, you'd start seeing now and then the occasional cobblestone or shaped like ground stones and everything like that make you think there's definitely a path up the mountain this way.
All right. Well, I would go walking towards it and explore it, but I kind of want to wait for Grim to get back. And
Man,
Yeah.
I also think this is where we should be going.
yep,
This looks like a path, and we were looking for a path.
you know what? We'll just make Grim's mind up for him right now, eh?
I mean,
He's outvoted.
you guys can outvote him if anything.
I'm keen to go up there.
I don't.
Roland,
I-
if you were to follow on, yeah?
I'd certainly agree. Yeah, no,
Oh.
this does seem like we're meant to be going. I mean, I don't want to speak for Grim, but I think he would think this is the right way to. It's
Yeah.
just very obviously the right
Yeah.
way.
I'll take an investigation up on there. Up on that
Oh,
path.
no need for an investigation.
Oh, not sorry, not investigation. I'll just just
Can I quickly investigate a little bit? Would it be wide enough for a donkey to go through?
I mean, where you are now, yes, but you going up a cliff path, there's probably parts that are degraded, or especially if it's in this bad of a shape, because it obviously hasn't been seen to in years or anything like that by any kind of quote-unquote civilized humanoid. But you'd hazard a guess that further up the path probably won't be so followable.
Okay.
all right. Well, we continue on the path around the mountain.
But as you continue up, you kind of come around, follow it up around a curve up over the top of a hill crest, and you arrive at what looks like kind of terraces, almost. I don't want to say the exact numbers because you guys aren't mathematicians or anything, but you see a very tall plateau with sheer cliffs that rise either side of huge boulders, some of them as large as ships. The narrow path that you've been following is cut into the cliff face and seems to climb all the way to the top.
Is it a steep incline going up the mountain?
Pretty steep, yes.
So
From-
wearing my heavy armor, I wouldn't.
From where you are to the top, you'd probably guess it would take a good amount of time climbing and good amount of skill. The path is a lot more followable, but as you're continuing along it starts being overgrown by tangled roots and the odd occasional tumbled boulder laying across the path. Most of the time, the path, it varies from, a couple of feet to 5, 6, 7 feet across and everything. At this point, you're pretty sure you would have had a really rough time bringing a donkey up here.
Seems apparent now.
Yeah.
That's good.
You guys clearing your path as you go?
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys could just be clambering over the vines and rocks and stuff. Or do you want to actually spend the time clearing it out as you go up?
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm gonna try to clear as best as I can walking up.
That's fine.
Amazing.
Yeah, I would think it'd be clearing because, but in all fairness, my main concern is Jack's got all this armor in this person.
Yeah.
How much trouble is he going to have? So I'd probably want to go ahead of him and be clearing at least what I thought would be enough for him to get through.
Was that in character or out of character?
That was just out of character. But,
Out of
yeah,
character.
I was just saying what I was thinking.
Fair enough. Yeah. Now, as you travel on ahead, you start, would you say, slicing and clearing your way through the vines?
Well, as you're climbing and clearing your way slowly, you can see far to the southeast, quite a distance. It looks like almost a small chunk of earth or something just floating above what looks like a basin in the earth.
Sorry, Rod, do you want to repeat that again?
To the southeast, by quite a distance.
Mhm.
If you're looking at the map, this area around here somewhere, you can see quite a large chunk of earth floating suspended above what looks like a giant basin in the ground.
So
Hmm.
right in the middle of the unmapped.
Also, everyone give me a perception check.
Perception.
So, I'll roll Grims for him. These guys. Not that this is by any means. Whoa! As you're traveling, river kind of points into the distance. Whereabouts is it? How they can see that far, I don't. But she points off in this this direction somewhere, and she says, "There's something in the trees back there. I can't quite make it out, but can any of you see that?" And none of you can. It's a really far distance away, and probably just almost a figment of her imagination too. But she's drawing attention out that way somewhere. She thinks there's something out there.
Hmm. So you're saying we can't see it from where we're standing?
You can't know.
Okay. Oh, look at her, and I was like, nah, I can't believe I can. Well, what's out there?
I don't know. Honestly, it looks like a bolt in the trees.
A bolt.
Yeah.
A crossbow.
Like a ship, like that you sail on the ocean.
Oh. See what the confused look on his face because you can't see it himself. Okay.
I rolled for you as well, by the way, Grim. You got the 17.
Sure.
Which was not good enough to see what River is seeing. But what else did you miss also? Did you find the path with us?
No.
Alright, well, we found a path going up the mountain and have decided to start following it up. We found it really quickly, like an hour or two at most after leaving camp.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, and now you are continuing up an overgrown, quite small path that you don't think you would have been able to bring the donkey along. But it's overgrown with boulders and their tangled roots and everything. Jake's been clearing the way as you guys go. I assume you would be helping as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, after probably close on 3 hours of climbing, clearing this path as you go up and everything, you about 100 feet below the lip of the plateau ahead of you, the path veers quickly into what almost looks like some kind of natural clefting in the stone face, with steps cut into 15-foot wide crevices, with depictions of jungle predators and flying lizards engraved into the rock face next to you. And you see an erupting volcano which has been carved into one particular shallow relief on the wall.
Alright, well, examine the carvings that are engraved into the mountainside.
Yeah, just like kind of on the wall next to you on the path.
Do they sort of
they
continue up, or are they just in this one location?
It seems to just be kind of like a 15-foot crevice cut into the mountain that has kind of like a mural in it, and then the path continues up probably another 80 feet to the top of the plateau, where it lips over onto the flat land above you.
I'm gonna give it a good search. Like, not only looking at it, actually less looking at it, more sort of like a secret door type deal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want for that?
Give us investigation.
Okay, I'm gonna guidance that.
You don't find any kind of doors or any seams that might allow the rocks to shift in front of you or anything. The pictures seem to be almost just that, some kind of mural cut into the stone on the side of the rock cliff.
Alright.
And the trail does continue on past this bit,
Yes,
right?
yes, it does. For about another 80 feet before cutting up onto the actual lip of the plateau.
It was River that spotted that ship out in the distance, wasn't it?
Yes, the boat.
So I turned to River and asked, do you know what direction that boat was in? Was there like an area that would have been in or anything?
South, almost probably directly south.
So, okay. All right.
Do we continue up?
I wouldn't mind spending a couple minutes if, like, River wants to look over it or anything like that, but, I wouldn't be super interested in what it actually is depicting too much myself.
Yeah, she doesn't see any kind of stories or anything like that. It looks like just some kind of mural to make the walk up a bit nicer, even if it's, your walk's basically done probably by this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I think we could keep on going up.
And sorry, I forgot to show you guys before, but when you came around the top of the cliffs before you found this overgrown path, you would have seen something similar to this, but with the path not quite as wide or leading straight up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a, I guess, kind of flat top cliff as opposed to a path leading up to it. It's more been cut into the cliff face that you've been following up. But assuming you guys continue to the top,
Yeah.
as you continue up the stairs, the stone steps emerge onto the top of the plateau beneath a once grand but now decrepit looking wooden gateway. The gates that sealed this entrance have all but rotted away. Only their rusted iron hinges and reinforced bands remain. In their place are heaps of human skulls, picked clean of all flesh and bleached white by the sun. They grin up at you from the roadway and down atop the towering mounds.
Well, that's somewhat unpleasant. I'm assuming a warning of some sort, likely.
And I just realized there's no actual map for this area.
Do you want to take some time to create one for us? Or?
Kind of lame. I'll just see what's here first. No, we should be sweet. As you, or I guess, what are you guys doing with this new information? Any buildings that you see are pretty destroyed. There may be the odd occasional shape of a wall or something, but
Is there any indication of battle here?
not particularly. Anything that happened here happened long ago. So nature would have claimed back a lot of the marks and everything.
I'd like to take a little bit of time and search through, see if there's any recent tracks or activity or anything throughout it.
Are you pushing into the village yet, or staying outside the kind of gated wall?
Is there like is it the wall? The wall is it like decaying? Kind of like could you see through some of the holes?
Yeah, you can see through into the village and everything like that, and it's ruins.
Do you mind if I give that gate a once over for a trap or anything?
Yeah,
I mean,
feel
there's
free.
like a couple of hinges and a couple of steel bands. There isn't so much of a gate anymore. All of the wood of the gate itself is rotted away and crumbled.
I'll just examine the entrance of the gate before we step in.
I mean, the steel work was obviously of some halfway decent creation. It's still standing around. It's well rusted, but I mean, it stands still. All wood of the gate has basically disappeared, so it kind of almost just seems like the skeleton of the gate remains. You wouldn't find any traps or anything like this. This was a entrance gate for the village.
Sorry, just having a pro moment. Anyway, hey, so turn to the party and I'll look at two party members. I'm going to go in first.
Sure.
Slowly etch my way through the gate
As
with caution.
As you walk through, you see that this was less of a village, more of a small city. Most of the structures at this point, though, seem to have been wood and thatch and have crumbled away to nothing more than compost heaps demolished by the rain, wind, time, and other forces of nature. Though you can see a few stone foundations and even a couple of overgrown ramps that poke through the debris. It shows there was some form of actual civilization. Things around here may have been less tribal.
So I'll look back at the two party members. It looks clear through the gate anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in, but as I go in, I just want to stick to the shadows, just trying to stealth as best I can.
I'd head in. I mean,
The other two would follow you guys as well. And as you're picking your way through the ruins of this once civilization, you can see in the distance, about 1,000 yards away from the gate, at the edge of what looks like a small field of boulders, You see one lone hut that is still standing, made from thatch and animal hide stretched over some kind of rib cage, it looks like. You can see animal skulls, wind chimes, and totems of feathers and shells that rattle in the breeze, and a small plume of smoke drifts from the hut. You can see in the distance some form of creature shuffling slowly around the hut, hunched over, almost animal-like. You slowly realize it's a human woman, impossibly old. She seems to be crippled by arthritis and blinded by cataracts. Her dark face is outlined with streaks of yellow clay suggesting the shape of a skull, or perhaps it's her shriveled flesh creating that illusion.
So 1,000 yards.
Does it look like she's noticed us at this point?
You're not sure. She may have noticed you and not been paying you attention. She may be some crazy old crone who wouldn't be able to pay you attention anyway, or she may have not noticed you yet. She's just kind of shuffling around what you would assume is her hut.
So I'm going to get probably, I don't know, 700 yards from here and kind of yell out, hello?
Her head kind of snaps up quickly, her blind eyes casting in your direction.
Who's there?
Just a couple of intrus who stumbled into your lands. Try to move closer and closer. So about 500 yards from here now. Are you okay?
I'm alive, at least. Who are you?
Oh, my name's Jake. I hail from the lands of Thedas. Well, what would your name be?
I am Nenny Boo Boo.
Oh, okay. What was the area that we were looking for? I've so got up into it.
Jeez.
Here it is. My parlor, that's the one. Anyway, we're looking for a city, a township around here called Marbala.
Bala, you have found it.
This is Marbala.
Yes, though I don't think you could consider it much of a city anymore.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. Does she give me like a kind of look? It's just we heard of how to put this
A healer.
a healer, yeah.
I was once known as such when Moore lived here.
So Jake's attention springs. He's a bit more attentive now. I've got a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind me asking them.
Come inside. Bring your friends. Wherever you are, Roland, her gaze, if you could call it that, still travels in your direction.
I'm just going to be terrified by that and step out into the darkness. And then I'm going to say, please don't mind my paranoia.
It's fine. Being wily is how you survive out here. Come inside, dears.
And she kind of shuffles into the tent cabin thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I turn towards the group and I ask them, I know this is my burden. You fellas can enter this tent if you would wish. I'm not holding it against you if you do not.
I don't have any choice. She said, "Bring your friends," and looked at me. I was hidden in the shadows. I got to go in that tent.
I'd give you a definite grin and a pat on the shoulder, and you make it sound like we're not here for you. We are.
Jack kind of gives that embarrassed kind of look on his face. Fair enough. I kind of deserve that one. Onward.
Indeed.
Onward.
Step into the tent.
Well, as you step in, you see her hunched over her fire, the one source of light in the tent, and she seems to be throwing something into a stew of some kind. You don't quite catch a glimpse of what it was, but it looked like a small lizard of some description. So you come looking for Nenny?
Is that a healer in these parts? Is that what you call a healer?
I am Nenny. I'm Nenny Poo Poo. I used to be the healer, the shaman for Mbala, but the people, they were all killed. All my children killed by the Terrafolk.
Terrafolk. Do you want to tell me a little bit more of these Terrafolk?
Terrafolk.
Terrafolk.
They're kind of bird people, I guess you would call them. Not quite like the Kenkus, but different and same at the same time.
Sorry, this is out of character. Did we bring those beaks with us? We didn't, did we?
The X beaks?
Those were
yeah, the X beaks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, those were X beaks. Those weren't
okay.
No, out of character, I'm thinking some sort of pterodactyl person.
Yeah, I think they are actually.
Yeah.
This is that terror birds and whatnot. But,
yeah, it's Patera, like
right.
pterodactyl. And incidentally, just spoiler alert right now, they look exactly like the vultures from Dark Crystal.
The Skeksis.
The Skeksis. They really do.
Totally can't wait to use the Skeksis voice for them. Because you know it's going to happen.
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
are meeting.
Just get a Skeksis soundboard.
Yeah. So, why do you search for Nanny Poo Poo?
It's my son. He took a blow and has fallen in battle.
Your kin is dead?
Yeah.
Are they with you now?
He is, and Jack kind of turns to the side so he shows Theodore on his back.
I mean, being this close now, you can see that it certainly looks like she's blind, although she passes over almost like she's looking around and everything. She moves her head, but you can see the cataracts and the milkiness in her eye.
It was more for like a sense, because she senses a lot of things, I'm guessing, being blind and being so old.
Losing a child is never good. I lost all of mine, although I cannot perform my magics for free.
That is a given. I expected much. I do have a couple of questions though before we do proceed. So in my land, these things called the Darkspawn. If a human is being tainted by Darkspawn blood and they die as a human, they come back as Darkspawn. I know there's a thing out here called the Death Curse. Does it act like that? Is it somewhat similar to it?
The Death Curse. I believe
I have not heard of this. I have not had to deal with other... I'm looking for the word that she would use. People? People's not the word she would use, but I'm just going to use people. I've not dealt with other people in a long time. I do not know tales of curses or anything that may be in existence at the moment. Is it a serious one?
Oh, I wouldn't be too sure. I haven't had much information. Just been told little bits here and there about the curse. I think you might know a little bit more than I do.
I know nothing of any curse. I only know blessing.
There's been a curse that's been sweeping the entire world. The details aren't exactly known to me as how it works, but those who are resurrected, it affects them. They die as well of, again, unnatural causes due to this curse.
So that's why the spirits have been quiet. As I said, I know nothing of curse.
I
am sure for a price I could breathe life to what does not have such.
So just we're adventurers. Don't really have much of gold. What would your price be?
Money is near worthless. Avenge my children, and then we can see about your child.
That's So I look back at the group and kind of look back at her. Do you mind if I take a little bit of time to discuss this with the group?
Take the time you need.
I would need to know a little bit more as well about your people, what happened here.
Were your children also taken by the Terror folk?
Yes. They attacked and killed endlessly over the years until many, many years ago the last of my children fell. They do not get to me though because I'm too smart, too stringy and quick for them.
Do you know if they have weaknesses or anything like that?
Probably not particularly, actually.
Okay, so can we look them up in the book then to see if we can find out they have weaknesses?
You can look them up in the book if you want, yeah.
You say you're in not quite so many words, but you say you're seeking revenge. To what extent?
My children, they all died to the lizard birds. I want the lizard birds gone. They hassle me. They try and get me. I'm just too wily for them. No catching an old lady who's got many more years' experience than most.
And they're women and children?
If you can consider them women and children, I consider them beasts as much as any others.
Whereabouts would you find this terrified?
These are unintelligent?
Less intelligent than you or I, no doubt. If you're asking if they speak languages and such as we do, then yes, they might.
All right.
But at the same time, just saying, beholders can speak languages
Sure.
too.
Well, Terrafolk. Sounds like we'll be walking into a what do we want to do, gentlemen? As he looks back at the group.
Well,
Obviously, can't take them on by myself, so
you
If
all
the group-
have at least a very good idea of my moral code. I'm not wild about the killing of women and children and non-combatants and whatnot, where it's obviously unwarranted.
I think you guys would have worked out my moral code pretty quick.
Or lack thereof.
And
Women, children, man, doesn't matter. Throw them in a pit and burn them.
and as it goes against Jake's religion to try to take vengeance upon on
I don't.
innocent life.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was finished.
Okay. I don't mind at the very least seeing what happens. But, I mean, again, if it comes down to slaughter in the streets or whatnot, I'm not going to be a part of that. If
You speak like they are something to feel bad for. They're creatures. They're evil, abhorrent murderers. They would have eaten me years ago if I wasn't as wily as I am.
Is there a certain person you would like to claim vengeance on, or is it just the entire clan there?
The entire nest of them. I do not want to have to worry for the rest of my days. If it is that much of an issue, if their life is not worth your child's, then I don't think I will be able to help you at all.
There, Jake has a disheartened look on his face. I don't approve of slaughtering innocents just for such.
By the sounds of it, they're no more innocent.
The warriors maybe are not innocent, but the children, the children.
Why won't someone think of the children?
I was thinking of the children. I was thinking, wouldn't the warriors feed the people to the children?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wait, what? No, yeah.
That's sorry. The pterodactyls. I'm assuming they're taking the people to eat.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, you know, Riyadh doesn't know that.
It's all an assumption. Like, and I'm just going off the assumption. But yeah, I mean, even if they weren't, I still wouldn't mind murdering them. You know, Roland's not the best moral compass guy. I'm glad I've got you two to balance it out.
Well, I mean, yeah, but by the same token, like, and again, this is all out of character, you know, because I have my own things, and then, you know, Riyadh has his own things. We would need you to pressure us into this as well, you know. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I see the writing on the wall.
I don't think it would be something I would pressure you into doing if you weren't willing to do it, though, because like
No,
in all
and
fairness, this is ultimately Jake's decision.
so the Terra clan, they have. Yeah.
It's obvious that, and I sort of wave my hand around. I mean, they destroyed the city, so I can concede the fact that they're not necessarily good.
This would be. All right, we go check this. We go check the Terra folk. We go have a look at them. And if it comes down to it, we just battle them.
Oh, if you were to do this thing for me, they are to the south. They are in a cliff, in the cliff, in a cave.
I must ask, if you breathe life back into my son, will he be the same as he was?
Is anything that dies ever the same?
How it looks it. You're not wrong.
They would have knowledge of what comes next. That would change any man.
I don't want to have to bring my son back and have him someone he's not.
This might be an inopportune time to ask this. What with us being here already. But have you prayed to your God and sought guidance?
Who was that directed at?
That was you.
The only person
Me.
in the party. No, actually, no, I haven't.
Ah, and actually, I can show you guys what Nanny Poo Poo looks like.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Oh yeah.
She doesn't look a day over 120. I don't know what
I
you're
know,
talking about.
Oh, you're in your prime.
But again, in character, I would, if you hadn't, I do think you should seek some sort of counsel or guidance from your God. I don't quite know your relationship, but
Oh, so if, out of character, how would I pray towards? How would I pray to a god?
Tell me that you're spending at least an hour to commune with your God,
Mhm.
and if
okay, like that. All right. Yep.
yeah, like
if
you
he's
get
not
all your
busy,
spells
he
and
might
whatnot.
fall sick. Yeah,
Yeah, directly
right,
from
it
your
doesn't use
God.
a spell
So.
slot or anything. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, your God is what lets you cast your spells. If you piss your God off, you don't get to cast your spells.
Yeah.
So like, I just didn't know how to pray to him. Like, do we have to go to the temples? Like, there's just certain item I have to pray in front of in order to gain the.
As
guidance?
long as you've got your holy symbol, you can commune with your God.
Okay, cool. Are we able to?
This lady is gorgeous.
Oh well, hello there.
Just go back.
It's the wrinkly skin that gets you off, eh?
I mean, as a fake-in, like, I mean, like, she's not that old compared to fake-in.
She's a young lass.
I like him young.
Oh no.
But is that something you'd like to do now? Because you would know that it takes, at minimum an hour.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
just because
Definitely.
she's probably like gonna have questions if you just start doing it in the middle of her.
Yeah. Besides, I was going to ask if we could allocate an area so we could maybe just have a bit of a rest so I can seek guidance.
Of course, it is late. I mean, there is not much in ways of shelter left in Bala, but feel free to stay and rest.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So do you guys go out and find somewhere to set up something resembling camp?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's easy enough to do. And as you're kind of looking around, you do at one point come across a cistern in the village, an old water well. It seems to be about 15 feet in diameter of an opening, and then the shaft drops a good 15-20 feet down to scummy black water.
I do not wish to drink the scummy black water.
Is it like a functioning well? Is there like a bucket and rope thing there?
No. It's
So
kind
we
of,
wouldn't even be able to purify the water?
yeah, it's kind of a hole in, I mean, you could if you went down there.
I would rather drink what we have and then get some water from the alchemical drug.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'd rather drink my own urine than drink out of that well.
I don't know about that.
I mean, like, yeah.
I didn't know your name was Bear.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 3 days out of civilization, so I'm going to drink my own piss.
It's the only
So it
way to
goes, eh?
survive.
It's the only way.
So we set up camp for the night. Does anyone do anything particular? Go lie down.
I sort of want to go around just looking around, see if I can gain some sort of understanding of history of the place. But not that I actually assume that I will. It's just
Yeah,
inspect around. It just
there's not much of anything left.
I like grandma.
It seems almost razed to the ground, even though the damage seems like natural rot and degradation from wind and rain and everything like that, which is still present, by the way. It is still raining.
I mean, like with everything being destroyed, probably the only real thing I'd be looking for is how well defendable would it be?
Against, like, it doesn't really have set walls anymore around the village or town. It's kind of all the walls are broken and dilapidated. Everything's it's as much ruins as you could imagine it being.
Does it have as much like a feel of it could have been a military thing? Like, do the walls feel like they're all ruins? Are they lots of ruins, or are they like small ruins?
No, it seems like the gate and the front, quote unquote, front walls of the village would be the main points of the village, and they weren't for defense as much as, hey, you've reached our city. I mean, it's very apparent that it was already quite defendable naturally because it's right on top of a plateau. You've got to take, these rickety old paths to get up there, which may have been a lot more usable many years ago, but it still wouldn't have been, you're marching an army up the side of a mountain to attack this town.
Yeah.
So they never really would have had call for many defenses. But if you happen to... Would anyone go off and explore towards the south to see if you could see the cave or anything?
No, not me. I'll probably just try to seek guidance from my
Yep.
God.
Yeah,
mean,
I don't think I would.
As I was
either,
walking
honestly.
around, I would probably end up in the south. But I'd probably, if anything, just have a look around. But I don't think I would look specifically for the cave. It's just
Yeah.
if I saw it, I would take note of it.
That's fine. I just needed to know that you were in that general area and give me a perception roll. Poor, just scraped by. You find what looks like a small square in the ground, about 70 feet back from the cliff face. It almost looks like a chimney that leads down into the ground.
That's odd. Well, I'll tell everybody else about that, but I have no idea what that is. Can I? Is it somewhere reachable? Is it somewhere I could look down at, or is it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's fully reachable. Like it's 70 feet back away from the
Yeah.
cliff face and everything, so you could fully look down it. And it looks like, as long as you weren't wearing too heavy armor or anything, you could probably slide down it. And I mean, if you were to hazard a guess, if there was a cave underneath this cliff, it would probably lead to said cave.
With 120 feet of dark vision, would I be able to see the bottom?
No, because it kind of juts left and right as it goes down.
Can I drop a rock down?
Have you seen Lord of the Rings? I mean, you can, but you've been told there's a cliff face, a cave in the cliff face around your area with some beasts in it. You want to go dropping a rock down into the chimney?
I mean, it's a good way to test how deep it is, but I mean, it could also annoy the thing in the cave if there's a thing in the cave.
Do it. Go on, you won't.
You're also all alone, for the record. Just throwing that out there.
Out of character, don't do it. Don't.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it for now.
Okay. Well,
We're gonna have to bundle our ropes together to drag you back up.
first things first. Give me 3 perception rolls, 1 each.
But I just used my
aren't
good
with
one.
advantage. Yeah, these aren't with advantage.
What?
What?
Perception without advantage. Yo.
Okay. So you guys set up camp for the night.
Oh no, so I've got to re-roll that because it's with advantage.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
And advantage is already there.
That's the second
Advantage is
number.
the second roll, and you take the
Oh,
highest. But
right.
that's what I'm saying. You guys don't get advantage for that anyway.
Yep.
Because it's not your watches. But so you've spent at least an hour, possibly 2, communing with your god. What are you asking?
Asking for guidance on my situation at the moment.
You don't get back a clear answer. You get back it's more feelings than clear words, because you haven't spent a lot of time, especially recently, conversing with your god. So your link to them is a bit shaky. But you get back a couple of feelings of distrust and carefulness, and a feeling of loss and sadness.
So I ask, is it the right move to be resurrecting Theodore?
I figured that was half of your question and everything
Yeah.
like that. It was the main focus point, and that's where the sadness comes in. Yeah, the mistrust is when you're praying or thinking about your current situation and everything like that.
What would be the limitations to what I could ask? Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I would ask if this woman could be trusted with her magic.
I mean, again, it's kind of just feelings that you go off of more than actual clear defined answers. You know, in the past you've been able to have like almost, sentient conversations with this ephemeral being, but just at the moment, because you haven't really interacted with them in a good month or two, your link with them's a bit shaky, and you're just getting these feelings of sadness and mistrust or unease.
So with that, Jake realizes that it's not the guidance that needs to be guiding him. This is a decision that he needs to make on his own. What? So I've got to scream and kill him. I'm super sorry, boys.
It's alright, man. It happens.
It's okay. It's not like the entire session's based around your game Ed, or anything at the moment, eh?
I know, right?
Savage.
What would you be doing during this stuff, Riot? Because these other two have told me.
Man, like the dead culture and whatnot doesn't really appeal to Riyadh. I mean, he would be poking around, but with no real aim in mind. He's just, doing something to stay busy, basically.
Yep.
I guess I would be... I'm sorry?
Oh, no, finish. You finish.
No, I said I guess I would probably be staying back and, hanging out with River and Flask, mostly.
All right. Well, in that case, Roland, give me another perception.
Pretty sure I've used all my good ones by now.
Hopefully he's calm.
I mean, hey,
Oh dear.
no worries, man. It happens.
Alright, so I'll finish up with Greg first and what Jake's
All right. Yep.
doing.
So we're still in, what would you say, at night time now, ready to settle down for a sleep.
Currently, we're kind of in a not directly timed part because we're dealing to something that you're doing while everyone else is doing other stuff while you're doing it. So we'll sort out what you're doing first.
Yeah,
or
that's
the rest of your
fine.
God conversation.
Yeah.
Which are you
So,
happy being done with?
Yeah. So Jake realizes that he's been distant from his gods, and his gods ain't really happy.
You don't get any feeling like your god's losing faith in you, or
Oh, of course not. But that,
is angry at you or anything. It is literally just like the connection's coming through crackly because it's not as well cared after at the moment.
Have you mentioned at all who you worship?
Yeah, I did to Jake. I did to
Yeah.
at the end.
Okay, I meant to the party, not.
Yeah, no, not to the part. I haven't gone to that part yet.
Gotcha.
No. I'm still trying to round off the backstory before I even worship.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those questions that may happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Imagine having played a month and a half and not having your backstory yet. But no.
Yeah, right. I know, right? Yeah.
So if you're happy with your god and what happened there, we will go to Roland over by the chimney, because something happens while Roland's over by the chimney. And as you're kind of holding
I should have dropped a rock.
as you're holding this rock and kind of tossing up whether to wake the bells of Mordor or not. Not Mordor. No.
Isn't it Moria?
Yeah, Moria. You feel an almost presence around you. You can't see anything, but you really feel like there's something around you. It's not like you haven't felt the wind shift or anything like that. It's just a presence. What do you do with that?
If I just say the word hello, which is what I'm gonna do, what happens?
You don't get any kind of reply. You just said hello to the wind as far as you're aware.
Which is way less crazy than it sounds. I mean,
It's gonna sound even more crazy now, because if I'm still feeling the presence around, I'm gonna say, should I drop the rock?
Still no reply, but give me a dex roll. Dex save. Lucky. Some of the ground at your feet crumbles and gives way, falling into the hole in front of you. You manage to scramble back so you don't go falling in, but you could have sworn you felt something on your back, almost like a hand pushing you.
What? Can I say anything if I turn around?
Nope, nothing is there.
Hmm.
Just saying, totally didn't intend for you to become the haunted person, what with all this spooky shit happening behind you that you can't see or anything. You're just not really lucky on your rolls.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Plus, I mean, it rolled a 20, so...
Wow. Wow.
But are you doing anything else? Nothing else untoward seems to happen. You don't have any unbearing urge to throw yourself into the hole. I mean, you might. Or do you just go back to the camp?
I mean, like, can I say anything down this hole?
No. We've been over this. You can see maybe like 20, 30 feet down, and then it kind of curves or juts off to the side.
Oh, so did the well just break open more?
No. The chute that you were at that you think might lead down to the cave is different to the cistern that has the scummy water in it.
Oh, I wasn't. Yeah, I used the wrong word there. I was just meaning when the ground collapsed in, did that create a new hole, or did it just expand the existing hole?
It was basically just the top lip of the hole. It was like you kind of felt a push on your back. You went to step forward to catch yourself, and then the rock slid from under your foot, and you kind of jumped back.
I'd probably head back and tell everyone about the weird things I'm experiencing.
Fair enough. Roland really do be haunted, though.
Oh, shit.
But if there's nothing anyone else particularly wants to do, we will take the 3 perception rolls for watch. 1, 2, 3. Throughout the night, you can occasionally hear Nanny Poo Poo shuffling around the ruins of the village. It seems like day and night don't really matter to her so much. Sometimes she's there, sometimes she's not. It's a bit strange because you're sure there's times where you could have almost guaranteed she was in her tent, but then she will come walking in from an opposite side of the village heading towards her tent.
Oh God, she's a ghost.
Just thinking, well, I've got some spare time. If I do, can I ask Nanny Poo Poo if she knows anything about a ghost trying to push me in a hole?
I mean, do you-
Ask her accusatorily.
Yeah.
I really don't ask. I don't ask her accusatorily
She
because I couldn't see anything, so my assumption was it's a ghost.
I would not think there would be very many spirits here. They are all quiet. I have not heard my children in so long.
We haven't asked her about her children either, really. Like, the way she's talking, obviously this is out of character, by the way. She's implying like all of the townspeople were her children.
That's very much the implication that she's put across, yes.
Yeah. So like, we're talking, perhaps a god, or some genus loci, or
more like how the elders of a village or the old shaman of the village might see everyone in that village as a child or an extension of them. That's kind of how she's been posing it across to you. That being said, if you actually go and ask her, that's a different conversation we can have.
I mean, I wouldn't. But, I mean, at this point, I'm sort of taking a backseat towards, Jake's thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we will see whose thing comes up next. Because there's no point in backstories if they don't get involved.
But I'm going to be right back because I'm going to get some more water.
Yep. The night passes quietly anyway, so we'll pick up the next morning. I'm going to take another quick slash. And yes, I'm happy to go for another hour if people want to keep going. And I'm back. Is anyone else there? No.
No. Just me, I think.
I'm back.
Ah, Grim's back now too.
Mm. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I have a pen on my desk that says I'm the world's greatest dad. So, I wasn't sure if you were aware, but I literally have it in writing.
Is there a Greg yet?
Yep.
Probably not. Oh, yeah, there is a Greg. Alright, so pick up the next morning. The night has gone by rather quietly, aside from the shuffling old crone. She got them sick moves. What would people like to do?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is the second thing, because the first thing is I make Goodberry for everybody. And the second thing is, while we're doing that, we have a talk.
We do.
Jake, have you had any enlightenment?
I've had a long,
any
hard,
guidance at least?
had a long, hard thought over it last night. If I can't have my son back the way he was, I won't have him resurrected at all. It'll be a disgrace upon him himself if he were to come back as something else. So with that, the arcs could you give us a hand digging a grave? That was a question at the party, by the way.
Yeah.
Any tools or anything?
If that's
This is the way it has to be.
really the way you feel, I'll support it, but I don't.
I respect for what you're saying, but this is my final decision.
I understand, but I do have to raise my concerns. Some of these things that you've been saying and alluding to are things I haven't heard myself. Coming back, I can't even remember the term that you called them, but different and changed. That's not a thing I've heard.
The Darkspawn. Oh, you're talking about the Darkspawn. Vile, nasty creatures. They come from the bottom of the depths of the darkest places you could think possible. Once the Darkspawn blood kind of touches your skin, or if you've been tainted by it, if you end up falling in battle, you come back as a servant of the Darkspawn army.
Just saying, this isn't Dragon Age.
I'm having trouble getting past thinking of Darkspawn as Darkspawn.
Yeah, I never played Dragon Age, sorry. Is that the concern here? I don't believe you're.
That is the concern. No, the concern is I don't want Jake to come back as something else. Oh, not Jake. Theodore to come back as something else.
Whether it's one of these Darkspawn or something
Or
else
something
that he might or
else.
might not turn into.
So is my final decision.
All right.
Next question is then, where are we burying Theodore?
I know of this pit.
Just
no.
dump it into a random pit you find.
Wow.
Half the work's
If
already
you, if you
done.
think if you think about it, a pit is just a pre-dug grave.
Wow.
Ugh.
I suppose we would look for a soft patch of ground anywhere.
Which-
Preferably
Well,
away from
would
the area
you
that we're
bury-
in now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
are you burying it up at Mabala, or are you going to take
No,
it down the mountain or
I'll
something?
take them away.
Yeah.
From
My,
that area.
my question would be, if we were going to bury him at Mabala, does Mabala have an area that looks like a cemetery?
The entire place?
Oof.
Like a dedicated cemetery?
No.
See, I'll be burying them away from Mabala itself.
Just
Patch
saying,
of
good call.
Was it?
I mean, the entire town is like basically a graveyard already. There's obviously some shit going on here.
Yeah. Oh,
I might ruin the surprise once we actually leave. But for now, play it as you're playing it.
yep. Alright, so Jake and my Jake. I want Jake to die. No. I'll put Theodore on my back and start marching towards the gate to try to find some firm ground or soft ground to
Soft
grow.
or soft ground will probably be back at the bottom of the mountain. Good news is that if you take the path that you took up on the way back up, it only takes about half the time to get back down to where you had camp the other night. So it only takes you maybe 4 hours altogether.
Should we?
Wouldn't it be slightly faster than half the time? Because we slowed down to get through.
Well, no, that's by their rules, as it's from where the overgrown path starts, it's
Okay.
3 hours to the top, and then half that on the way down. You guys had already covered a few hours before you found that path.
Oh, okay.
But you once again leave the consistent rain that has kept you soaked and very chilly for the past day, and the rocks and cliff faces slowly give way to trees once more, and then you find yourself back in the jungle. After probably an hour, you could probably find the exact location of your old camp with the old campfire and everything.
Mhm.
Just to say, you're back at the party token on the map.
Right.
And you can bury Theodore if you wish here or anywhere. I assume you'd spend the rest of the day digging and building a I forget the word.
I know I mentioned we were going to bring the shovel. We should bring the shovel, but did anyone bring the shovel?
I don't think so.
I didn't bring the shovel.
That's a good idea.
You could give him a Viking burial. You don't have a river and boat nearby, but you could still set him on a pyre.
Plan B would be to bury him at the Goblin Camp.
Well, does
If that
your
is-
religion have any certain rites you should follow?
No, it doesn't. Not towards burials. It's just it's like get startled after the burial kind of thing. Remember the person as they were of good times.
Right. Well, I mean, we can still dig a hole without a shovel. It'll just take longer.
My main question is, are you actually digging a hole, or are you going to do a bonfire? All I'm caring about, really. other than that, I don't mind. You guys can take the rest of the day and some of the night to get a hole built or a hole dug without a shovel or whatever. It's just, what is the ultimate end for Theodore do you want?
Were you thinking about resurrecting them later on in the campaign? Come back and
No.
fight it?
This was your chance for resurrection. You've decided to say
Nah,
no to it?
yep. Right. Just gonna, bury him in the grave. So we'll spend the day and a half or whatever, how long it takes to dig the hole.
Alright. Well, the next morning, because we'll say the night passes quietly again, but the next morning, the grave is dug, Theodore is buried. You hold something as close to resembling a funeral as adventurers are often given out in the field, which is basically a couple of words said. If you want to make a big RP out of it, we can. That is up to you. Or we can continue on with the adventure knowing that Theodore has been safely laid to rest.
I sort of want to at least go around, gather some materials, and make a headstone. Sort of a headstone, like cross sticks, write Theodore on it, and gift it to Jake. Be like, I made this for you.
No.
It might just if you want to come back, you know where to look.
Okay, I'll accept you next time. Thank you. Yeah. But the one thing he does place on his grave is his signet ring that I did take
Mm-hmm.
from him. So I'll
It's
do that.
just, yeah.
Signet ring that I took from his body, and I'll place it on his grave. Yeah, I suppose we can move on then. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Is anything anyone wants to say? Anyone last words for Theodore? But
Baba boy, Baba boy, Baba Streisand, Baba boy.
there we go. Done and dusted.
Done and dusted.
Fast and efficient. I like it.
But I think unless people want to go for another 50 minutes and probably just start getting into something else before we clean up, or we can go from here next week. It's up to y'all though. I am good either way.
I don't mind either way.
I'm good to carry on. Or I'm good to just wait till next week. I'm totally open to anything.
Oh, Fraser, make a decision. You've got to say either next week or now.
Dave's thinking hard about this one.
Well, let me ask you this one. Do you need a little bit of time to prepare stuff for next week, or for what's next?
No, I mean,
okay.
that's the great thing about a module.
Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah,
most of it's right there anyway. Like at the end of the day, I've got a random dungeon set up that I could start throwing at you guys. If we don't, I mean, you guys probably won't get into the dungeon. It's quite a big one, so I'm thinking.
Sure,
could probably just leave that for next week, and yeah, because I do want to get you guys another level, so I'm thinking of throwing a grind at you for the next couple of weeks.
Sounds good to me.
Depending on how you get through this next dungeon. So yeah, we'll call it there then for this week, and I will make sure I railroad you guys hard into the grind for next week. I don't like it, but at the same time, you're going to have it happen because you guys need another level or two.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But
when you got a railroad, you got a railroad.
Yeah.
I just realised I might not have been talking for a while.
Yeah, no,
I always forget push to talk, and I was responding to you, talking to me about it all being on me, and
just for curiosity's sake, now that I've made the decision anyway, what did you say?
I was thinking that it was actually a nice place to end off.
Okay. That's cool then. Oh, Yep, we will definitely leave it there, and we will hand it back to Grim for his post-game goodbyes for his channel.
Sure, yeah. It was a good one. Again, little interesting. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I did not predict we would get all the way here to be like, nah.
Yeah,
And then come on back.
that was a bit like, really, really, we got to do that? Okay, then.
Roland's slightly annoyed, but not annoyed enough to make a
it
problem out of it, because in all fairness, that's a tough decision.
Yeah, and that said, of course I respect the decision.
And now that Theodore's buried, I'm comfortable in telling you he would have only been alive for like 2 more weeks anyway, because that's how the resurrection spell works now.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Does it? Oh,
Yeah, her one in particular has like a 2-week thing, and then you have to go back and basically get it redone.
Oh, dear.
And I don't think Jake would have gone through with the rest of what was needed for the ritual, because the ritual consists of sacrifice.
that's one thing that's against this religion. Yeah, is to sacrifice another life in order to bring one back.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
But yeah.
So ultimately, the correct decision.
Yeah. In terms of his god, and in terms of just, general plainness, because some other things were going to happen too.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I won't let you in on that, just in case we decide to go back to Mbala in the future.
Oh, yeah. You never know.
Exactly.
Maybe we just need somebody alive for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But either way, I had a good time. I hope everybody else had a good time, too.
Yeah, definitely.
If you've been watching, thanks for watching. If you haven't been watching, you should be watching.
Yeah, hot.
Yeah, why aren't you
How
watching?
dare you? But either way, I hope you all have...
I'm gonna do something that no one's done in your videos before, Grim. I don't know if they have or not, but I've watched a lot of them. Slap a like and subscribe.
Oh, God. Nah, we don't do plugs here.
Yeah,
I think I was a smartass at one point and been like, did you know blah blah if you aren't subscribed? But I don't think I actually said like and subscribe.
It is what it is. This is mostly just for personal use.
Yeah.
But either way, if you've been watching, or to all of you here, thanks for coming out. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for playing with me. Hope you have a great day, and peace out.
Good one.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye bye.